So moved.
It's been moved. Do we have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Ayes. Trustee Quintanilla.
Aye.
Trustee Wilson.
Aye.
Trustee Keynes.
Aye.
Vice President Ewing.
Aye.
And I, Robert Troiano, vote aye. If you just joined the stream at 7:30 or so, you will notice that we didn't do the pledge as we normally do. Actually, I guess we should do the pledge, huh? So we are going to do the pledge. But I do want to say that the board met at 6 to go into executive session, and therefore I did not ask the district clerk to call the meeting to order because we had already done that. Two board members, Trustee Dickerson and Trustee Bowling, were not here at 6 o'clock, and they will not be here for the rest of the evening as well. So I will now ask you all to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silent meditation. I'm going to ask, thank you, I'm Floyd. I'm going to ask Superintendent Chase to give her report.
Good evening, community members, those who are here in the audience, and to the entire Westbury community. I just would like to say Happy New Year. In the field of public education, we view the opening of school as our new year. I want to thank our community, our family, our staff, faculty, and especially our darling scholars for a fantastic opening. There was so much joy and great energy at every single school. While I have the attention, and before I turn it over to our auditor who will provide a report to our community and to our board, I would like to take a moment. The school board and I ask that we do commemorate and have a moment of silence for the 2,977 lives that were lost in total on 9/11/2020. I apologize, I should know that because my daughter was born in 2001. It was 2001, I apologize, on 9/11, 23 years ago. Many of our schools, classrooms tomorrow will be talking about 9/11, and to our scholars, they probably have no recollection of it. But to many of us, we remember the day when we were informed that our beloved World Trade Center had been attacked. So I do ask our community members who are here, our staff and faculty, and those who are with us virtual, if you would please engage us in a moment of silence. Thank you. The Westbury Union Free School District has engaged EFPR as our auditors to conduct an audit, and they are here this evening. Actually, Mr. John Castillo is here this evening on behalf of EFPR to provide an audit report to the board and to the community. So without any further delay, we call Mr. John Castillo up, please, and share your findings.
Good evening. This is a presentation on the preliminary financial audit. Audit test work took place the week of August 4th, and preliminary draft financial statements were issued on September 6th. We will be issuing unmodified opinions on the following reports: the basic financial statements, the federal grant compliance audit, otherwise known as single audit, and the extra classroom activity funds. All records and information requested by EFPR Group were freely available for our inspection. The results of our tests disclosed no instances of material weaknesses or significant deficiencies or other matters related to financial reporting that are required to be reported under government auditing standards. There's still 2 open items, returning the legal confirmation letter and obtaining management's representation letter. Financial results, this is district-wide full accrual where we include the long-term items such as capital assets and debt. Total assets increased $10.8 million to a balance of $190.7 million, mainly as a result of an increase in cash and equivalents. Deferred outflows of resources decreased $26.6 million to a balance of $90.4 million as a result of actuarial changes related to pensions and other post-employment benefits, otherwise known as OPEB. Total liabilities decreased $4.5 million to a balance of $355.1 million. This is mainly as a result of actuarial-related changes to pensions. Deferred inflows of resources decreased $8.5 million to a balance of $98.3 million. This was primarily as a result of actuarial changes related to pensions and OPEB. Continuing, net position decreased $2.8 million to a deficit balance of $172.2 million. The change in classifications were as follows. Net investment in capital assets increased $2.7 million to a balance of $42.2 million as additions and principal payments on related debt exceeded depreciation. Restricted net position increased $1.3 million to a balance of $39.9 million as funding of reserves exceeded appropriations. Unrestricted net position, or the deficit, increased $6.8 million to a deficit balance of $254.3 million. This deficit is a direct result of reporting OPEB as required by Governmental Accounting Standards Board, statement number 75. Continuing on full accrual, program revenue was $15.8 million, which was a decrease of $8 million from the prior year due to decreased federal aid. General revenue was $185.6 million, which was an increase of $21.1 million over the prior year due to increased general aid from New York State. Expenses were $204.2 million, which was an increase of $9.2 million over the prior year. This was mainly due to increased general state aid being expended. Total assets increased $17.1 million. This is the general fund modified accrual where we do not include the long-term items such as capital assets and debt. It's the normal things you would see. Total assets increased $17.1 million to a balance of $91.7 million, mainly as a result of an increase in cash and equivalents and interfund receivables. Total liabilities increased $6.2 million to a balance of $36.2 million, mainly as a result of increases in accounts payable and interfund payables. The net change in the general fund's fund balance was an increase of $10.9 million to a balance of $55.5 million. The change in fund balance classifications was as followed. Restricted increased $3.5 million to a balance of $29.2 million as funding of reserves exceeded appropriations. Assigned increased $4.6 million to a balance of $15.6 million due to an increase in year-end encumbrances. Unassigned increased $2.8 million to a balance of $10.6 million. Revenue was $186.1 million, an increase of $21 million over the prior year. This is a result of increased general aid from New York State. Expenditures were $171.9 million, an increase of $11.7 million over the prior year. This was mainly a result of increased contractual costs and costs related to salaries and benefits. The federal grant compliance audit, otherwise known as the single audit, the district qualified as a low-risk auditee. The following programs were tested for under uniform guidance: the COVID-19 Education Stabilization Fund. No material weaknesses or significant deficiencies in internal control over compliance were identified. However, material weaknesses or significant deficiencies in internal control over compliance may exist that were not identified. The results of our tests disclose one instance of noncompliance that is required to be reported under government auditing standards. New York State Real Property Tax Law, Section 1318, limits unrestricted fund balance in the general fund to no more than 4% of the budget of the ensuing fiscal year. The district's unrestricted fund balance subject to this law was $10.6 million, or 5.35% of the 2024-25 voter-approved general fund budget. This is our recorded communications. Significant accounting practices are described in Note 1 to the financial statements. Accounting estimates were reasonable and supported. The financial statement disclosures are neutral, consistent, and clear. We had no difficulties in performing our audit or disagreements with management over any accounting, reporting, or auditing matters. We are not aware of any consultations about accounting or auditing matters between management and other independent public accountants. There were no disagreements with management about matters related to the district's financial statements or to our auditor's report. And there are no other matters that we consider significant to the oversight of the district's financial reporting process that have not been previously communicated.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
You used the term I'd like you to explain to the board and the community that I think what you said was that we are a low-risk auditee.
Yes.
So what does that mean?
When testing the federal expenditures under the single audit guidance, you're either a low risk or a high risk. A low risk means there was a material weakness or a significant deficiency in one of the past 2 years. So you have not had single audit findings in the last 2 years, you qualify as a low risk auditee. Myself as an auditor then only has to test 20% of the federal expenditures. Had you been a high risk auditee, I would have been required to test 40% of those expenditures.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
No.
Okay, well, thank you.
Thank you very much.
So, Mr. Troiano and the board, I would like to thank our business department, our business office, under the leadership of Ms. O'Neill, and we do have members of our business office here, for a job well done. And we thank you for being good stewards of the taxpayers' dollars and to ensure that, you know, we have an audit that I think we all can be very proud of. So we just want to thank each and every one of you, and thank you especially, Mary, for your leadership and for the people who work alongside you to make us extremely proud, and thank you.
Yeah, thank you for making those comments, and I just want to not reiterate, but confirm what Dr. Chase just said. It is, at least for me and the rest of the board, it's you know, we don't have to worry about our business office, and I don't have to give a lot of thought to it, and that's not true of all districts. And you know, from time to time, we hear some really wicked stories about what happens in other districts. And it's been a long time, so I can mention them, but there's been movies made about the Roslyn School District, right? And fortunately, no one is there any longer to feel any sensitivity to my comments. It's something that we don't need to worry about. Well, I mean, we always want to maintain oversight, but it's a real comfort for us to know that we've got such highly capable and caring staff that are watching over the district's money. Thank you. Okay. So now we will open the mic to anybody from the community or anybody from the community in writ large that would like to ask the board a question or make a comment about the school's operations. Okay. I guess everybody's preparing to go to debate watch parties or to host them. Dr. Clark, would you, forgive me, Dr. Chase? What can I say?
I take that as a compliment.
Yes, the highly esteemed Dr. Clark. And so I'll ask the highly esteemed Dr. Chase, is there anything she'd like to say about the opening of school?
Well, as I shared earlier, I have to tell you, the opening of school was just so refreshing. We have one of our dedicated principals here, actually, our middle school principal, Ms. Jagan, who opened school with a dance party. So we have some middle school folk in the back who were part of that dance party. I went to the dance party. I know Mr. Gallivan, a few of us went to the dance party. But every school had an energy, Mr. Troiano, that I've been doing this for a long time. Now, you're tired of hearing me say, I've been doing this for 30 years. I just haven't felt that energy before. It was a great opening. And, right, so Mr. Popkin, like, it was just, there was something different about this year. So for the teachers who are here, and I see 4, and for the staff members who are here, let me just say this, keep that going. The children feel our energy. They understand we're here for kids, and we're here for kids only. Let's keep it going. Let's keep this positive momentum going, and let's continue to work hard. That's the safe thing to say. Let's continue to work hard on behalf of every single scholar in this district. I want to thank you once again for giving us a fantastic opening. Our kids were so happy. Our parents were happy. I saw so many happy educators, and our administrators were happy. Let's just keep this momentum, because that happiness, that joy is contagious. And we want to be able to grow happy and joyous children. So thank you. Mr. Troiano was awesome.
Thank you. I think there's no other business to cover tonight, so I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Moved by Trustee Keynes. We have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Trustee Quintanilla. Ayes? Trustee Quintanilla?
Aye.
Trustee Wilson?
Aye.
Trustee Keynes?
Aye.
Vice President Ewing?
Aye.
And I, Robert Troiano, vote aye. Motion carries. We are adjourned. See all of you, and hopefully more, next Tuesday, September 17th. Yes. Yes, okay. I thought I said something wrong. Good night, everybody.